Hi, welcome to using Flipgrid to inspire and facilitate discussion from wherever you are. I'm in sunny Beijing right now. So I'm really excited that you all came today. Hopefully we can learn some stuff together. So here's just a few norms. I muted everyone as you came in just because we weren't sure how many people were going to show up. So I wanted to make sure we didn't all of a sudden have 20 people talking at the same time. So if you could use your headphones, mute yourself when you're not talking, and then use the chat to share questions and any aha moments you have. And then we'll see how many people show up, and we can unmute ourselves and talk too. So some objectives for today, just to explore an example of using Flipgrid to promote some asynchronous text-based discussion. I really would like you guys to become familiar with some Flipgrid, but then features, but then also brainstorm how you might be able to use it. And then hopefully we'll have some time for you to add your voice to a Flipgrid and see how that goes. So in the chat, if you could share one thing you're excited about from your morning of learning, or an aha moment you've had during e-learning, or one thing you've learned about yourself or your students. So go ahead and share those. A lot of Zoom breakout rooms. I'm really excited about that. I used Zoom when I was doing my master's, and it was really transformational to be able to use those breakout rooms. So I'm really excited for you guys to explore with those. And if you don't know about them yet, go ask someone who went to Julie's session this morning, because there's a lot of things you can do with Zoom besides just meet. All right, keep those coming, and we'll share with those in the chat. But let's use your time. So one of the things, the biggest challenges that we can have with e-learning is going from that synchronous environment that we're so used to, and being in the same place at the same time and being able to interact and discuss in real time, to that potential hurdle now of creating space for those interactions when we're not online at the same time and potentially not being able to interact easily. So outside of ISB, I manage the Coattail program, which is a 5-course certificate for educators, and they have weekly assignments, and then they reflect on their blogs and they comment on each other's blogs, but they rarely get to see each other face to face and have those more personal connections. So when I was updating the curriculum last year, I really wanted to find those opportunities to allow that deeper discussion and that deeper connection for our cohorts. So I took this text rendering protocol and translated it over to Flipgrid. So I'll show you what that looked like. This was the first topic, and they read Harrow's cycle, or skimmed at least Harrow's cycle of socialization, and then they came over to this Flipgrid and briefly introduced themselves, and then shared their one word, one phrase, and one sentence that they found significant. You can see in the lower left that I was able to add both the protocol that we were adapting and the link to the article that they had read. This allowed people who weren't in our cohort to come and interact if they wanted as well, because this Flipgrid was public. So anybody, including you, if you want to go in there at any time, anybody can come here and leave their response. So after they watched at least 4 others, then they came over here to part 2, and in their video here, they went to that deeper level and discussed what it meant, what they had heard other people say, and what it meant about that document and the concept, and then were able to reflect on how it might impact their practice, and also how they might use a similar discussion protocol like this with their students. So I want to show you a few other examples that I brainstormed out. These are just a few. There's probably a lot, and you guys probably have a lot of really awesome ideas, which I'm excited to hear about. But I just came up thought about a few ways that you might do discussions in class and that you might want to also be able to do those in an asynchronous environment like we have now during e-learning. So doing read alouds or feeling shares, maybe doing some feedback. And then also there are 4 more, I think, text-based discussions that might be more appropriate for older students, but you might be able to adapt for younger students as well. And so for each of these, I've gone through and figured out or brainstormed how we might transfer those from protocols, discussion protocols that we would use in class over to a Flipgrid. And so just step by step how that might work. Before you go brainstorm for yourselves, I wanted to just run you through a few of the features that Flipgrid has that might help you think about how you might use this in your own classroom. So what I did for the example I shared was create multiple topics within one grid. You don't have to. The one that I'll share with you later is one that just has one topic within that grid. But then you can also control who can join. So I kept mine public, but you can also just have certain students join and keep it more private. And then you can also control how long people can talk. So I think it's anywhere from 15 seconds to 5 minutes. If you want to add co-pilots or co-teachers, you can do that. So that might be especially beneficial in elementary, adding your co-teachers or EAL teachers, or anybody. That's an option. You can, as you saw with mine, I also added some attachments. So for each topic, you can add an attachment if you wanted them to access something else outside of the Flipgrid. Another option is automatic captions. So that might be a really great option for our EAL students as well. You can reply via video. So once you leave a response, you can also reply just via a small video. But then you as the teacher have the ability to moderate and also freeze or not allow any more responses. And then you can provide some cool feedback. So I'll have you guys see if you can experiment with one. So here's the link and I'll put that in the chat too. But I'd love to hear in this Flipgrid here how you might inspire every voice. So this just has this is one grid with one topic, and I give some directions, but then also put the slide there. And then if you just click on to record a response, we've got a few in here. You can add your own as well. So while you are experimenting and playing around with that, I will show you some features. So I call each of these responses. They call them a response. You can record a response. And then you can also, once you have opened a response, you can also leave a reply. So in that idea document, I would use the word response and reply. And those are what I'm referring to, the response to the topic, but then the reply to an individual video. As far as I know, I don't think that there's a way for students to reply via text to each other, but they can reply via video to each other. And you can have multiple replies for those videos. And then some of the back-end features. So this is what this grid looks like from my end. When I edit that grid, I've got lots of different options that we kind of went over earlier. So I can decide what kind of grid it is. Like I said, public, or they can only join via their school email. You can also have a password on it, so only some people can join even if it is public. Lots of different features for notifications. Make it a little more personal and fun. And then for each topic, you can also edit that topic. So there's where you can add your directions, your attachments, what kind of, if you want it to freeze after a certain time, different video features, and then feedback. So if we look from this area and I wanted to go and give feedback as a teacher, this is what I can see. I can each individual one. And then here's where I can leave some individual video feedback. If I wanted to, I could leave a grade, and then I can leave written comments as well. And then you can also make sure that the students get that feedback. So what I'll do in a little while is I'll go through and give each of you some feedback so that you can see what that'll look like from the student's end. And any of this, I'm more than happy to play around and mess around with you. So if you just email me and give me the link to your Flipgrid, I'm happy to mess around in any way with you so that you can feel like it's ready for your students and have a little bit more experience before you just roll this out to a bunch of whatever grade. All right. So what I've tried to do with these ideas is give a range of ideas for different grade levels, but I'd be really, really interested in how you would use it. So feel free to, at any time, even later, leave your responses to this Flipgrid and watch each other's, interact with each other's. Feel free to send this to other people and have them share. I am not the bearer of all knowledge, so I think the power is in community and having that shared knowledge and shared experience. I'm more than happy. Please share this with anybody else that you think you might be able to do it with. So lots of questions in the chat, and we can talk about those too, and feel free to answer each other's. We were messing around. Again, I'm more than happy to mess around with anybody, but questions about if kids need to be able to log in or not, and that, can they just join it? I'm happy to troubleshoot with you. The other thing that might be really helpful for everyone is Clint shared this educator's guide to Flipgrid, and so that would be a really great resource. Flipgrid also does a ton of interaction with the community, so they have lots of different ways to ask questions and to see what other people have asked to in their communities. So they're a great resource. I've also here added more protocols that maybe you might want to experiment how those might be used on Flipgrid. This is the Flipgrid that I did with the Coattail cohort, and then that Word document with Flipgrid discussion ideas. And again, there I'd love to add yours too, and of course give you credit for it. So let me know if you want anything added there. So continue to share in the chat any questions you have or any aha moments or ideas, and use that Flipgrid to share any thoughts you have. And we'll continue to learn and share and use this as a community. So thank you so much for coming today, and we'll see you soon. Have a great, wonderful, awesome Friday. Bye.